So we have a very strong balance sheet. When you compare, we are trading around $6-7 nowadays, but just $17 is the asset per share. So I think it's important, how strong is our balance sheet in the company. And I don't want to give like a heads up because we are really close to release the Q3 figures, but we are happy of the things that we are seeing right now.
Hey, welcome back everybody to another online business briefing brought to you by smallcapvoice.com. And I'm your host, Stuart Smith, and we're welcoming back to the show IQSTEL. The company's traded on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol IQST. And if you're not one of the 10,000 people that viewed our last interview with the company a few months back, I highly encourage you to do that, to get the basic building blocks, the foundation of the company, its history as a public company, which has not been that long. However, boy, they are knocking out the press releases, and that's why we're speaking with the company again today. Want you to go to their website, IQSTEL.com. You can see it over my shoulder here, IQSTEL.com. And we're going to welcome to the show today, once again, the CEO, president, and chairman of the board. We also think he might be the janitor. That's Jose Iglesias. And then welcoming him as well, we want to welcome the chief financial officer of the company, and that's Alvaro Cardona. So first, let's start with you, Jose. Welcome back to the show, Jose. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you very much for this opportunity. You know that we love to being here talking about the company, all the things that we have accomplished over the last month. So fantastic opportunity to talk about our project. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to hit all this great news that's hit the press wire. Alvaro, the CFO, my kindred spirit as a former CFO. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Stuart.
I want to give you both a pat on the back because this is something a lot of companies can't do in year 5. You guys were able to knock this out in your first year. Here's the headline, everyone. Pull it up. IQSTEL becomes a debt-free Nasdaq company with no convertible notes or warrants and plans to give $500,000 in shares as dividend by the end of the year. So much here to break down for your investors. Jose, let's start with you. Let's pull this press release apart and really kind of show why this is so important as the growth and maturation of your company continues here in 2025. What's your takeaway from this press release, Jose?
Yes, listen, for us, being a debt-free company is important because we are in the process, we are a roll-up company, and we are in the process to achieve the $15 million EBITDA run rate for next year. So we have planned for merchant acquisitions. And in that sense, having the company lean with no debt is a very good opportunity to set up the negotiations with the potential target acquisitions because we are building a very strong platform for them. Not only, it's a simple acquisition. We are talking about synergies and, path of growth over the next years. So it's important to be a debt-free company and giving them how solid is our plan that if we complete an acquisition almost a year and a half ago, we already start with debt-free company and we are ready to move into the next stage with a solid foundation. So that's the beauty of this, And in this process, of course, we have been, improving our balance sheet. That is something that Alvaro is going to talk about. This is at the perspective of a debt-free. About the perspective of the dividend is good. We have been doing business with Securium. It's a very good partnership. We are exchanging some shares as a sign of how deep is our partnership and becoming like a sibling companies. And that's the idea, it's giving like a reward to our very loyal shareholders over the last years. They have been supporting us and we want to giving them $500,000 in dividend. We strongly believe that, the next phase that IQSTEL is entering is something that is going to become more regular basis, giving rewards to our shareholders and having them understanding that even though we have a fantastic vision, a fantastic plan for the future, they are going to get some rewards in the journey to being IQSTEL shareholders.
Well, very good. Alvaro, having a cleaned up balance sheet gives your company strategic flexibility, number one. But number two, as Jose pointed out, you've already been able to clean your books of an original acquisition, completes full payment of QXTEL and Globe Topper acquisitions, and as Jose just pointed out, accelerates the Cycurian partnership. As the CFO of the company, though, this has got to be very important for you, a very important milestone, and having that strategic flexibility going into the acquisition process, whether it be with existing companies, new companies, it's got to give you that strategic flexibility, correct?
Correct. You're right. So this now we have a stronger balance sheet. Okay, and that's not everybody pay attention to the balance sheet. Most people pay attention to the revenues, net income, EBITDA, but having a strong balance sheet is a very powerful tool when you turn to your lenders or to your bank, and in that process of continue looking for new merge and acquisitions is a very strong tool having a clean and a strong balance sheet, because that helps you work with your banks, with your lenders to get new financings for the acquisitions and new financial resources for the growth of the company. Just to give you a figure, in this last quarter, we cleaned about $5.4 million in convertible debts. But more importantly, 66% of that debt were converted into preferred shares. And I think we talked about that in our previous interview. That gives you an idea how confident our investors are in the future of the company, the vision of the company, and the long run of the company.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that last interview, Jose. Go ahead, Jose. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It's something I think is important because, at this point, I think it's important to point out some things. So just for having an idea, based on the second quarter results, we have like $17 per share in assets. So we have a very strong balance sheet. When you compare, we are trading around $6, $7 nowadays, but just $17 is the asset per share. So I think it's important, how strong is our balance sheet in the company. And I don't want to give like a heads up because we are really close to release the Q3 figures, but we are happy of the things that we are seeing right now.
Well, as you should be. And I was just going to point out some of the highlights from our last interview were some auspicious goals you laid out for your company, targeting 15 million EBITDA by 2026 and 1 billion in revenue by 2027. And to do that, you're going to have to bring on acquisitions that are accretive for your company. And you're doing that if we follow the news, and we'll bring up some additional headlines in just a moment. But let's go back a little bit to some celebrations for the company. And this was only a month ago or so. The company celebrated 120 days on the Nasdaq with institutional investors, analyst coverage, and there's that name again, Cycurian, Dividend driving AI and digital expansion. The Cycurian company, I want to learn a little bit more about them, but Litchfield Hills, a company that we know very well, issued an $18 price target. Alvaro, I'll start with you. Obviously, working with these analysts, going through your financials, this is a worthy exercise for any company, but obviously coming out of it with a price target of $18 to be very pleasing to you.
Yes, well, it was an independent analyst. We just provided him with information. Basically, he used all the filings that we has been done to understand the company. We have some interviews with key personnel in the company for him to better understand our services, our products, our industry. He came with that number, and of course, we are happy to have that target price. We hope that the market will look at that and see there is a lot of potential by investing in IQSTEL. And of course, our fundamentals are strong as the analysis shows. So we hope the investors and the market will start giving the real value to our company.
Let's do a simple math, Stuart. Very simple. Similar companies in our arena are trading something between 10 to 20 times EBITDA. So if we achieve $50 million EBITDA run rate, we should be trading something, our market cap will be something between 150, sorry, our market cap could be something between 150 to 300 million using the same proportion of the other companies that are trading in our arena. So that's the opportunity gap that we've seen. We are trading like $20 million, and we believe in the process that we start delivering results, increasing our EBITDA quarter after quarter over the next 3-4 quarters. And that set the trend that we are in this path. I strongly believe that the market is going to reward us with a better valuation of our company and the perception that we have in our company. We have a brilliant future, of course, but we are still working on this future every single day, and we have several things to accomplish in this process.
I think you've done a great job of articulating the bright future that lies ahead for your company, and the foundation that's being built here in 2025 is going to be what's going to drive that truck forward into that bright future. So with that being said, I know the company has been very busy. We've mentioned the name Cybersecurity a few times. I know you're moving into the AI cybersecurity space as a new vertical for the company. As you look, and let's start with you, Alvaro, as you look at 2025 and what you've been able to build, what does that tell you about 2026? What are your personal operational goals for the company moving forward, whether it's wrapping up all acquisitions, delving into these new verticals, obviously taking care of that balance sheet, which you've worked so hard to clean up? Tell me about some of your operational goals for the company.
Well, we are still working on the integration of our operating subsidiaries. There are still some areas of opportunity to reduce costs, to increase margins, to be more efficient. So that, of course, is going to be reflected in our balance sheet and our P&L for the coming quarters. We are in the process of integrating Globetopper, who was our last acquisition. Well, summarizing, our revenues are going to increase. Our net income is going to increase. Our EBITDA is pointing to be a positive number for the coming quarters. So we are very excited about next year. I think we have been putting all the pieces together. Of course, we are looking for some merger and acquisition, new companies to add positive numbers, not only at the revenue level, but at the net income level and at the EBITDA level. So we are very excited about the coming years.
I know this is one of your favorite questions when I ask you, hey, tell me about what the future might hold for your company. And again, I just want to say to everybody, pull up these press releases. IQST is the ticker symbol. One thing I love about your press releases is there's usually a section in them saying, why does this matter? Where you define the opportunity that's in front of your company, and also it shows an educational portion of it, because look, a lot of us AI, there's such a spectrum of what it can actually include. Jose, what's got you most excited heading into, well, just wrapping up 2025, honestly?
Yeah, listen, we have since our inception, we have been building a very strong business platform. If the way that we see the company, that we have the foundation selling millions of dollars to the largest telecommunications carriers around the world. So nowadays we are taking advantage of that business platform, to selling high margin, high tech services. And for us, AI is important, and cybersecurity with our partnership with Security is really important. But more than this, we want to having a very specific products, highly differentiated, And this is why our services with AI is going to be a next level. How can you protect your services with AI? And how can you have cybersecurity services protected using AI? So that's our company is pointing out. We believe that this kind of services is going to be very important differentiation strategy for us over the next years. We are planning to launch our services for the telecommunications carrier services arena in the second quarter next year, having a booth and launching products and everything for in May in a very large telecommunication event. So we are growing the company. We are doing what we know that is telecommunications, but we are taking advantage of that knowledge to sell more technological solutions with high margin and giving to the customer high value services. That's the process, and that's what the shareholders and our customers could expect about the company and the direction that we have been taking over the last 12 months.
Well, listen, go to IQSTEL.com, IQSTEL.com, code /investors, which is right there in the top navigation menu, and you can invest in the company right there. There's a lot of due diligence for you to take a look at this company. Obviously, they do a tremendous job, as we've pointed out in this interview, ad nauseum, of keeping you abreast of what the company's doing. I'm actually flowing through all their news right now on my favorite news provider. A great job by the company of wiping out this debt, wiping out any of attached warrants to it as well. If you're a shareholder of record, obviously you can look forward to this dividend as well. Gentlemen, both of you have been incredibly helpful today. We're wrapping up 2025. I can't believe it. We're wrapping up the month of October. We've only got a couple of months left. You've given us a lot to think about what the company is going to be doing here in 2026. But Jose, let me ask you, any other closing thoughts or comments for your investors and shareholders?
Listen, we have a fantastic plan. We have a fantastic vision, but I think it's important all the support that Alvaro, being the CFO, is doing with having this lean balance for the company and setting up the basis for our future. So we have a very good plans, but we have a very lean company. So standing applause for Alvaro and his team for this.
I love this
Appreciate
team.
it.
You guys can't, I got to keep it on gallery because I love this team. The two of you have been together so long, and we talked about that in our first interview. Well, then, Alvaro, you take it away. Comments for your shareholders and listeners.
Well, keep trusting us. Stay with us. The future is gonna be amazing. We have been showing along the years that we are a company that deliver, and that is not going to change. We are going to continue delivering and achieving our goals, and faster, trying to grow the business as much as possible and be consistent on that regard.
Well, listen, let me also point out Litchfield Hills Research is the company that gave that $18 price target. You do, as I recall, knowing that company, need to visit their website to pull up the research report on the company. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure speaking with both of you. Jose, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
And Alvaro, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you, Stuart.
All right, for Alvaro Cardona, the CFO and the smartest man on the call because he's the CFO, and of course our CEO, President, Chairman, Jose Iglesias. This is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for tuning in today. Be sure to do your due diligence on this company. Visit their website, click on that Investors tab, pull up the ticker symbol IQST, find all the recent news we discussed today, and go back and find our first interview with this company back in September. Give that a watch. Send us your comments. We'd love to speak with this company. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the company as well. For Jose and Alvaro, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for tuning in.